Welcome back to The Weekender, and we're in conversation with Amit and Akshay Jatia of Westlife Foodworld, and we're talking about the company, the prospects for the QSR industry and the way forward. Well, let's continue talking about the company now. Ms. Amit, I wanted to understand from you, the QSR industry in general has seen sort of a slowdown. You know, even if we talk about food delivery, players like Zomato reported a slowdown in food delivery. I just wanted to understand, are you seeing a slowdown like that? Is that a cause of concern?
I think, what happens is, from our point of view, of course, I can't talk about the current quarter since we are in closed period. But if you build platforms and foundations, then I feel as the economic cycles go up and down, at least we've been able to differentiate ourselves. So our philosophy is that as you keep increasing the base, then when tough times in the economy come, we are able to ride that better than anybody else.
Okay.
The second last angle on this is that because QSR is a value segment, while the informal eating out frequency goes down, normally we are able to retain a larger part of the share because we are value for money and people downtrade to us. So we are relatively all right.
Okay, and do you see inflation being a cause of concern?
Over the last few years, we've done a lot of good work around cost, and we've used multiple levers, be it cost, be it ProMix, which is ensuring that we have the right product mix for our customers, or price. We've managed our margins, very well. So as a result of that, even in the last year where you saw hyperinflation, we reported stable margins and in fact margin growth at the operating profit level.
Right.
I think moving forward, what you've seen, and as a country also, India has done a good job in managing the whole inflationary scenario. I think food inflation is actually coming down versus last year. Last year was hyperinflation. As a country, we always have food inflation. But I think brands like us or companies like us who have done a good job in managing costs, as well as being an aspirational, brand that customers want to go to, are in a good spot where we'll be able to manage both growth as well as operating profits.
Competition is another one, and I would like both of you to comment on that. You know, when McDonald's came in, it was sort of the only brand. Right now you have KFC's big, Burger King's big, Popeyes is coming through, Jubilant. I mean, it's already here, that's also expanding. So how do you then view competition? Because at the end of the day, the target segment for all these brands is the same. The USP sort of, which is value, is the same. So how do you then make a niche and ensure market share does not go?
Firstly, I genuinely love competition.
Okay.
Because it's great for the consumer. And if it is great for the consumer, it forces every brand to reinvent itself.
Right.
And at least I'm quite proud of the way we have reinvented ourselves and differentiated ourselves as well. Even though we would do like a fried chicken product, if you try the McDonald's fried chicken, it's going to be quite different from that of competition. If you look at our experience of the future store, if you look at our leadership around McCafe, if you look at the leadership of the quality of the restaurant. So while many of our competitors have gone for smaller stores more often, we've maintained our sign, and now everybody is saying that in-store is coming back. So I think competition is great for the consumer.
Okay.
Competition keeps us on our toes, and I think we compete with all of them globally, and we love competing with them in India as well.
I think stressing on the most important part, actually competition is great for the market. It's great for customers as well as for companies. Customers, because you're growing the market. For example, burgers, right, as a category was very small, say 20 years ago. Today it's large and it's growing very fast. Same thing with chicken, right? And we have multiple Western fast food brands competing in these categories.
Yeah.
And then for companies, right, the ones that do a great job, that offer value for money to the customers, that work on the experience, that work on the ingredients, the taste, they're the ones who really benefit from competition. And I think, we've done a great job in ensuring that we are one of those companies, and we genuinely love competition.
Okay. And, with respect to QSR, one of the concern that analysts often have is that as you expand to smaller cities or smaller towns, now that's being identified as a very big growth area, and fairly enough, because there is a lot of growth coming. But when you go there, the concern that has been is that, margins, profitability could be eroded, that the spend might not be as much as an urban consumer or as an urban, in what you'd see an urban store. How are you tackling that? And what do you agree with that firstly? And
That's
how
my
do you
take.
tackle
That's
that?
why we are running the business and they are analyzing it.
Okay.
So my take is that we've been in small cities for 20 years. And it depends on what you call a small city.
Right.
In India, a small city is a large city in the rest of the world. But you know, we've been in a Vapi, right?
Okay.
Vapi is like, I remember when we opened, it had 200,000 people. Today I have 2 freestanding drive-thrus in Vapi, right? So it's all about how you make the brand work. There are many ways to look at it. And the first way to look at it is actually in small cities, there's less availability.
Okay.
There is more time on hand. But outside of which they aspire to eat at a McDonald's and brands like that. I feel, cracked the code on how to win in a small market.
And how do you see the consumer in the small markets also changing? Because thanks to internet accessibility, you can't, I mean, the access or the information that they have access to is also changed a lot. So are you adopting a specific strategy when you look at smaller stores?
I think that's a great question. I think actually the small town consumer, the emerging town consumer is a very evolved one. And it's due to rapid urbanization and digitization. In fact, they are looking for more aspirational experiences.
Yeah.
They want to go out with their friends, their families. They want to be somewhere where they can, you know, kind of Instagram, tweet, take pictures and share them, right? So actually we've hit that sweet spot where we are that brand. As he said, we go into these smaller towns and these emerging towns with a full experience, with a drive-through. It becomes a destination for that town or that city. And as a result of that, they actually get that aspirational experience, and at the same time, they're getting great value for their money. So actually, contrary to what people may say, small towns or emerging towns, they do good volumes, and at the same time, the profitability is good because you're able to work more efficiencies at the unit economics level, where rentals are sometimes better, where utilities are sometimes better. Obviously, in your key towns, your key cities and bigger cities, you have maybe higher volume, but it eventually compensates for each other, and you still run a great ship across the board.
Right. And before I let you guys go, Akshay, I wanted to understand from you, now that you are going to lead or rather bring this vision to life, what is sort of in your head the goal, or how do you see McDonald's, not just for Vision 2027, but you know, in a long term, say 10 years from now, what do you see McDonald's as, and how different is it from Amit Jatia's McDonald's?
So, you know, as I said earlier, for me, it's bringing 5 years to life and obviously seeing beyond that. I think what we've set out in, you know, kind of tangible words is the 5-year vision. We want to double sales, double our network, grow profitability. I think beyond that, obviously, our longer term vision is to continue to penetrate the market, continue to give customers this experience that we're so proud of giving them, ensuring that we run a great organization that people want to work for and people want to grow with, and ensuring that, you know, we create a legacy both as Westlife Foodworld as well as, you know, brand McDonald's.
Right. Well, gentlemen, on that note, thank you so much for such a wonderful and insightful conversation. Well, on that note, that's an end to an exciting conversation. A lot to look forward to from Westlife Foodworld and from McDonald's in terms of the product strategy, more penetration and an omni-channel strategy. So for you as consumers, also a lot of exciting things to look forward to. Thank you for watching.